Are you new to Elite Dangerous and do you want to get into mining? Stay tuned because today I'm going to give you some tips for what could be your first mining ship. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous with Down to Earth Astronomy. We still have a lot of new players joining from both on PlayStation and all the other platforms. And I recently launched a video about your potentially first combat ship, suggestions for what you could buy. If you want to see that, click the more info icon. But if you're more into mining, then this video is definitely for you. Because today we're going to look at some different ships as loadout. We're going to go over them in detail, and I'm going to give you suggestions to how you can upgrade the ship in the future. And I'm going to go up the setup and everything. So let's just get started. The first ship that I would recommend you use if you want to be a miner is the Cobra Mark III. I've talked about this in my combat videos. This is a very good versatile ship. It can fill a lot of different roles. Now, this ship and the build, I try to keep that around 1,000,000 credits. So that's the price point we're looking at here. If you don't have 1,000,000 credits yet, I would suggest that you get yourself a very cheap combat ship. And then go out and try to get some bounty hunting going until you have the money, or begin maybe doing some trading or something like that. So let's start out and let's look at the hard points. I decided to fit no weapons on it, only the 2 mining lasers. You can go with 1 if you want to. I went with 2 simply because it makes the whole mining process a little faster, because you can extract the rocks from the fragments from the rocks a little bit faster. So I've gone with these 2. We had the power, so that's not going to be an issue. Utility mounts, nothing here, nothing that we really need at the moment. And then we're going to go to core internals. I did keep the stock power plant because that could supply us with plenty of power for what we need. And then decided to spend some money on upgrading the thrusters and the frameshift drive. D-rated thrusters and C-rated frameshift drive. You can switch this around as you see fit, as you have money to it. The thrusters are nice to upgrade because it makes you more maneuverable when you're out in the belts. So you're less likely to fly into rocks, and it's going to make you move faster between rocks. So it's going to make you slightly more efficient. The upgraded frameshift drive was just to help you get from system to system. If you want to sell the materials outside the system that you're mining in, because often those systems will maybe not have the best prices at the station. So you might want to go out and have a look at the area around where you are. Maybe you can get some better prices and get some more money for your hard work. Kept the stock life support, can upgrade that. And I decided to upgrade the power distributor a little bit, because those mining lasers are very power hungry, so the upgraded power distributor should help you keep those mining lasers active for longer, until they run out of power. Same sensor, and I haven't touched the fuel tank either. Let's go with the optional internals, and I want to start from the bottom this time. We have a refinery. Now, when you mine, what happens is you shoot at the rock and small fragments come out. And I should say I have a full mining guide or tutorial series. And look again, click the more info icon. There'll be a link to some of these videos up there, so you can go and you can have a look at those if you want a more detailed mining guide. But in general, once you mine, you get small fragments from the rock you're mining, and you need to collect those fragments. You can either just scoop them up with your fuel or with your cargo scoop and fly at them manually, but that takes a lot of time, and it will also often take some practice. But once you scooped up these fragments, and we'll come back to that, how you can do that later, you have to put them into a refinery. And the refinery has a different number of bins. So basically a fragment can maybe hold, let's say, 20% of a unit of gold. So that would be 20% to make 1 nugget of gold that you can then put in your cargo hold. Now, while you're collecting the percentage up until you reach 100%, they need to go in a bin. And that's what you can see here, that the refineries has a bin count. The more bins, the more different materials you can hold at the same time, and the easier it is for you. So if you have a few number of bins, you might have to jettison some of the materials to make room for other stuff that you want to mine. So a bin count is pretty much the most important thing when it comes to refineries. Then we have a prospector limpet controller. What this does is, if you put limpets in your cargo hold, show you in a little bit how you do that. You can then fire these limpets at a rock and then target the limpet, Once it then hits the rock, it will then tell you what type of materials are in the rock. That means this makes it easier for you to, well, yeah, prospect, as the name suggests. You don't have to go out and mine a fragment to see what's in it. You just fire these limpets at the rocks, making them scan the content of the rock, which should make it a lot easier for you to find the good materials out there. And then we come back to how you collect those fragments. We have a collector limpet controller. This one can have one active limpet at a time. Same thing with the prospector. You launch one of these collector limpets, and it will then fly around and pick up all the fragments and bring them back to your cargo hatch for you, so you don't have to do that manually. It saves you a lot of time, and I definitely think it's worth the investment. Then I got with a 4D shield generator, just so we have a shield, because, well, you're flying around around huge rocks, maybe you'll bump into them. If you don't have a shield, that's going to damage your hull, and hull repair can be expensive. So to avoid cutting into your profit, I think it's often a very good idea to fit a shield generator. And for the rest 2 slots, we just have cargo hold, giving us a total of 32 units of cargo. Not that much, but for a first mining ship, this is definitely not that bad. Now, if you want to fit limpets, what you do is you go down here to advanced maintenance, and you go restock, and here you can see there's limpet control, and you can then stock up on these as many as you want. I would suggest you go a little bit over half cargo hold with these. That again depends on how picky you are with your rocks once you're out there. So that's your first ship, and now we're just going to go over and see what ship you can do if you want to buy a ship that's slightly more expensive. Here we have the Type 6 Transporter, also a very, very capable mining ship. Let's go ahead and let's have a look at the loadout. We only have 2 small hardpoints on this ship, so they are of course taken up by 2 small mine lasers. Utility mounts are empty, nothing here, just as with the Cobra. Let's go into the core internals. Core internals, I upgraded the power plant because we need a little bit more power for this build. You can actually see down here at the bottom that once we deploy it, we are almost maxed out. We are 10.98 megawatts out of the 11 megawatts. So we absolutely capped out this power plant completely. So you need to spend that little bit extra money. I should probably say this build is around 5 million. So it's 5 times more than the previous build. But as you will see later, you do get quite a few extra nice features on this ship. Same thing as before, upgraded the thrusters. If you want bigger thrusters, you will have to upgrade the power plant, of course, because they do use more power. For a frameshift drive, which is very nice, gonna give you a decent jump range. Fully loaded with a full cargo hold, you can jump just over 18 light years, which is not too bad. 2D life support, just to they're slightly lighter than the previous, the 2E ones, and they give you a little bit longer emergency life support in case something bad happens. And again, we upgraded the power distributor to a 3B version this time, just to give you that extra power to keep those mine lasers firing. Still haven't upgraded the sensors, and fuel tanks are still the same. So let's go with the optional internals. Again, we're going to start from the bottom. 1E prospector limit controller, same as before. I even use one of these small ones on my mining ship, which is one of the biggest ships in the game, because you can upgrade so you can get 2 of them. That's a luxury, but you really only need 1 at a time. So you can only scan 1 rock at a time, but you really don't need any more. At least not in the beginning. You can look into getting more later on. I've also gone with a fairly low grade refinery at 2A, so we're only using a class 2 slots for this. It gives you 6 bins, so we have 1 more than the other. You can, if you want to, switch the collector limpets and the refinery. If you want to go with a large refinery to get more bins, then you'll have to go down with a lower collector. We might have to downgrade the shield. You could switch this around as you see fit. But I've gone with this collector where you get 2 active limpets, so you can now have 2 limpets out at the same time collecting, which makes it a lot faster, so you don't have to sit and wait for as long for the limpets to finish collecting stuff. 4B shield generator, B should be the most power efficient, and again, just to have it in case we get attacked or we fly into something that we're not supposed to, so we don't damage our ship. And for the rest up here, it's just pure cargo, giving us a total of 80 units of cargo hold, so quite a bump up, over twice the cargo hold from the Cobra. And this should give you a pretty decent mining ship for 5 million. And from here on, you can upgrade to either maybe an Asp is a very good Asp Explorer, it's a good ship. You can go for another trade ship or transport ship. They also work very well as a mining ship. But that's going to be for another video if you want to go into a little bit more details in fittings. So that's the setup. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, give it a like down below. And remember to subscribe to the channel, or maybe even consider becoming a Patreon over on my Patreon page. That would mean a lot to me. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys in space.